Life has only two kinds of pain. One is the pain of effort, and the other is the pain of regret. The difference is just that. The pain of effort pushes you toward your dreams. But the pain of regret burns you for the rest of your life. Napoleon Hill said that someone who can control their mind can control the value of their life. The question is, have you ever tried to control your own mind? Chapter 1. Give it a deadline. Everyone can dream, but capturing it is only for those who bind it with a date. Napoleon Hill said the goal is the same dream your subconscious has. This sentence, however simple, is just as deep. Think about someone saying, "I want to be rich." It's a good dream, but the question is, 5 years, 10 years, or starting right now from this very spot? As long as your dream is floating in the air, your mind doesn't take it seriously right now. But the day you say, "I must earn 1 billion in 1 year," from that very moment, the ticking sound starts in your brain. This is the power of a deadline. It transforms a vague dream into a measurable goal. According to research, people who only had a goal in their mind had a chance of success. But people who wrote down their goal and set a timeline for it were much more successful. Why? Because the human brain, under pressure and urgency, thinks and acts differently. Your mind is a master of procrastination. If it feels you have infinite time, it convinces you to start tomorrow. But when you give it a deadline, tomorrow becomes an illusion. Every day gains value. Think, if you heard the exam date without seeing the lessons. No, but when you know the exam is next month, your lifestyle changes. Focus shifts to planning, away from distraction. The same principle exists in life. You want to start a business. You want to lose weight. You want to master a skill. The deadline is the difference between a wish and a commitment. When you have a date, your brain starts planning. Ideas come to you. You see opportunities. Your energy rises. This is not magic. This is how the brain works. A part of the brain activates focus. But be careful, a wrong deadline can destroy motivation. The deadline must be realistic but challenging. Not so hard it crushes you, but hard enough to make you stretch. For example, 2 people go to the gym. The first says, "I want to get fit." The second says, "I want to lose 20 kilograms in 6 months." Who is more likely to succeed? The second. Why? Because it has a countdown. This is the difference between a dream and a goal. A dream without time is equal to a wish. A dream with time is equal to a commitment. When you have a date, your brain programs itself. Now let's get to an important technique: reverse engineering. When you set a deadline, you must calculate from the end to the beginning. To reach the goal, what work is needed each day, each week, each month? If your goal is to earn 100 million or 1 billion in a year, divide it into months, then weeks, then days. When a big goal turns into small steps, it's no longer terrifying and heavy. It's doable. It's tangible. Napoleon Hill learned this principle from Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie told him that real wealthy people don't leave their dreams floating in the air. They set a date and then force their subconscious to work for that date. They program their minds so that their daily behavior automatically aligns with the goal. Here, you must understand, a deadline is not just a date on a calendar. It's a promise to yourself. When you write a date, you are making a promise to yourself, and this promise is connected to self-respect. Every time you postpone, today, your subconscious mind records it like a broken promise, and the more this repeats, the lower your self-trust becomes. But when you set a deadline and meet it, even if the goal is small, your internal confidence level rises. These small internal victories build a layer of discipline. An armor that prepares you for bigger dreams. Another truth. Parkinson's Law. This law says work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion. If you give a task 1 week, that same task will take 1 week. But if you are forced to do that same task in 2 days, you'll usually finish it in those 2 days. A deadline forces the brain to produce more output in less time. So, the question, how do you start today? Write down your biggest goal. Set a challenging but realistic deadline. Break it down into small steps. Use a calendar or reminder and make a public commitment. Announce it to friends, family, or on social networks. This raises the accountability level. Your mind shifts from the state of one day to the state of today. Remember, a dream without a date is like a cloud. Beautiful, but it disappears with the slightest breeze. But a dream with a date is like a stone. Solid, tangible, ready to be shaped. And if you think you don't have time, the reality is that time is always the same amount you allocate for your own goals. The difference between people is not in time, but in priorities. Some only change the pages of the calendar. Others write their own name on that same calendar as the one who did it. Chapter 2. Burning desire. Wanting is easy. Everyone wants, but a burning desire is something else. It's something that doesn't let you sleep peacefully. Something that spins in your mind 24/7. Something that if you don't do it, you feel your life is incomplete. Napoleon Hill said a burning desire is the first and most important step to success. The truth is, most people give up midway. Why? Because their wanting is superficial. It lacks depth, it lacks power. But when you have a burning desire, no obstacle can stand in your way. Let's pass an example. Thomas Edison's invention of the light bulb was not a simple project. It was an obsession, a positive madness. He failed 10,000 times. 10,000 times. If his desire was superficial, he would have given up on the 50th or 100th attempt. But his desire was burning. To the point that every failure was new information for him. One step closer. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This mindset is only built with a burning desire. A burning desire hacks your subconscious mind. In psychology, it's called the principle of the dominant thought. Whatever you repeat more in your mind controls your behavior and decisions. If your desire is strong, it cuts off all distractions. It crushes all laziness and pulls you toward your goal. If you ask, how do I build a burning desire? Napoleon Hill's answer: your dream must be so big and so vital that you feel your life is incomplete without it. If your goal is just a good thing, you'll quit at the first difficulty. But if your goal becomes part of your identity, part of the reason for your life, you won't quit. When someone is drowning in water, they need air and they fight for it. A burning desire is just that. If you are fighting for a goal, it's because that goal has become like oxygen for you. If you want your goal for money, for show, for keeping up with others, you'll quit soon. Now let's go to another important principle. Chapter 3. Autosuggestion. Napoleon Hill said you become what you think about most of the time, and this is not just motivational talk, it's completely scientific. In the human brain, there is something called neuroplasticity, meaning the brain, by repeating a thought, gradually turns that thought into belief and reality. If you keep telling yourself, I can't, I have no talent, I have no resources, your subconscious mind establishes this as the law of life and builds your life accordingly. But if every day you give your mind the right commands, beliefs, and feelings, then your brain starts building that same reality. This is autosuggestion. Let's give a big example. Muhammad Ali. Years before he became the world champion, he repeatedly said, I am the greatest. This wasn't bragging. It was a technique. It was mind programming. He repeated this sentence so much that his brain and body were forced to behave in accordance with being the greatest. His training changed, his confidence changed, his strategy changed, and in the end, he really became the greatest. For any goal, it's the same. You want to launch a business in a year. You must repeat the image and sentence every day. I am a successful entrepreneur. My business creates value. My financial freedom is on the way. But note, autosuggestion is not just saying words. It must have feeling. If you say it without emotion, it becomes a mechanical, ineffective exercise. But if you say it with imagination, with feeling, with visualization, everything changes. Let's give another example. Jim Carrey. When he was an unknown actor, he had no money, no opportunity. He wrote himself a check for $10 million. He dated it, Thanksgiving 1995, and looked at it every day, imagined it every day, saw himself in the role of a successful actor every day. A few years later, precisely in 1995, he received $10 million for the film Dumb and Dumber. This wasn't a miracle, it was the result of years of belief, visualization, emotion, repetition, and action. It's like a software update for the mind. If your mind is full of old, negative, discouraging programs, your mind will never create a new version of yourself. But if you input the right commands every day, your mind gets rewired. Stronger, more purposeful, more focused. And an important point: if you don't do this programming yourself, society, family, and the environment will program your mind unwittingly, and usually, this programming is not in favor of your dreams. So, be the driver of your own mind, not its passenger. Chapter 4. Mastermind. There's an old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Napoleon Hill in his research discovered a principle, mastermind. What does it mean? It means surrounding yourself with people who grow you, not those who hold you back. People who inspire you, people who challenge you, give you motivation, and support you in tough times. Hill said this mind is not complete alone. Minds must collide with other minds to grow. This isn't just philosophy. Science has proven it too. According to Harvard research, people who have a supportive, goal-oriented network are 95% more likely to progress than others. Why? Because thoughts multiply in a group. Energy multiplies in a group. Ideas grow in a group. The biggest historical example, the Wright brothers. If one of them was alone, maybe society would have told him flying was fantasy. But they were together. They directed each other's minds, completed each other's ideas, and combined their energy. The result was the invention of the airplane. This power of mastermind, its most attractive part is synergy, or the power of combining two minds, can produce an output that neither can produce alone. How to build a mastermind. Choose people from different fields so your perspective broadens. Hold regular weekly or monthly meetings. Everyone must be both a giver and a receiver. Commitment is the most important principle of the group. Napoleon Hill learned from Andrew Carnegie that 85% of his wealth was due to his network and mastermind group. A final point. You can have a dream alone, but turning a dream into collective action is only possible with a mastermind. Chapter 5. Specialized knowledge. Knowledge alone is not enough. Knowledge is only power when it turns into action. There are millions of books in the world, thousands of motivational seminars, but only those grow who turn knowledge into an operational plan. Many people read success books, watch success videos, talk about growth, but they don't move. They don't start. They don't act. Why? Because having knowledge is easy. But implementing knowledge requires courage and persistence. Hill said knowledge without a plan and action is just data. It does nothing. Science says the same. Studies show that people who take one small step every day build stronger habits, higher motivation, and bigger results. But people who only learn and don't act stay in place. A simple example. Thousands read books about entrepreneurship, but an entrepreneur is someone who sends an email today, builds a prototype tomorrow, and then talks to a customer. Progress is built with small steps. The key solution. Take one small step every day. Have the big goal in mind, but focus on the small daily actions. Goals must be measurable. Today I'll talk to 3 customers. Today I'll build the first version of my product. Hill in his research saw that people who combined knowledge with action had an 80–90% greater chance of success. Knowledge plus action equals real power. Remember, action is the bridge that connects dreams to reality. If your hand doesn't move the oar, the dream boat won't move. Don't just collect knowledge to keep in your mind. Bring knowledge into your life. One step, every day, without stopping. The real victor is the one who learns and acts, not just thinks and dreams. Chapter 6. Persistence. Persistence is the greatest key to success. Hill said persistence is the power that keeps you standing when the world tells you to quit. But persistence is not easy. Statistics say about 80% of people abandon their goals within the first 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. The moment difficulty starts, they lose, they return to the comfort zone. But that 20% who persist are the ones who build the future. Persistence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it hurts. It's hard. It has failures. But those who get up, try again, and see failure correctly, not as death, are the ones who win in the end. Let's give an example. Colonel Sanders, founder of KFC, was rejected 1,009 times. Many doors were closed on him. Everyone said his plan wouldn't work. But he persisted. He didn't surrender. Each time he got better, and in the end, he built a brand that became global. This is the power of persistence. Hill said persistence is just data collection. It means new experience for better decisions. If you fail, ask, what was the mistake? Learn the lesson. Fix the strategy. Continue. Persistence is the most important factor for big goals. Take even one small step every day. This daily exercise turns your persistence into an invincible force. Remember, on the path to success, the number of times you get up is more important than the number of times you fall. Because the truth is, success is not hidden in dreams, but in the will that never lets dreams be set aside. Chapter 7. Defeat fear. The bigger the fear seems, the brighter the light on the other side. Fear is one of the most powerful obstacles in our lives. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of financial inability. These three fears are the most common factors that stop people from moving. But Napoleon Hill clearly said fear is only defeated by action. Fear arises when we are wary of the unknown or when we lose trust in our own abilities. But fear is not a monster you can run from. On the contrary, the only real weapon against fear is acting. Every time you do something that scares you, whether it's public speaking, starting a new business, or facing a difficult conversation, your confidence increases and fear's power decreases. Hill believed that people who surrender to fear lose their dreams too. But people who face fear daily, even with small steps, build an invisible shield inside themselves. A type of courage that even the toughest situations cannot stop. Suggestion. Every day, take one small action that is a bit challenging for you. Over time, this action not only reduces fear but becomes a natural part of your behavior. Celebrate every small victory, because these victories eliminate fear and awaken your inner power. Chapter 8. The power of decision. One of the biggest secrets of success is the ability to make decisions quickly and firmly. Hill says one of humanity's greatest weaknesses is procrastination in decision-making. People who decide quickly and commit to it are often successful. But people who constantly postpone their decisions lose opportunities and keep delaying their paths. Quick decision-making doesn't mean thoughtlessness, it means not wasting time. A mind that constantly changes decisions becomes confused instead of focused. Henry Ford famously said, "I make decisions quickly, and changing them is nearly impossible." This same stability transformed the auto industry. The 24-hour rule. For any important decision, decide within 24 hours and then commit to it completely. Chapter 9. Time is the most valuable asset a human has, and how you use it determines your life's path. According to statistics, the average person wastes about 3 hours of their day on their phone. If this time were spent on constructive activities, dozens of hours of valuable work would be gained monthly. Hill says if you don't control your time, you can't control anything else. An effective management method is the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of deep focus plus 5 minutes of rest, and repeat the cycle. This method keeps the mind clearer, reduces fatigue, and dramatically increases work quality. Elon Musk divides his day into 5-minute blocks and assigns specific time for each activity. This method allows him to do a week's worth of an average person's work in one day. Suggestion: divide your day into small time blocks. Set aside distractions. Put your phone away, because without time management, neither motivation, nor money, nor knowledge will lead to real results. Chapter 10: The Principle of Giving. When you spend your resources, time and energy, helping others, the world returns it to you multiplied. This is a natural truth. When you work only for yourself, the result will be limited. But when you step on the path of helping others' dreams, a powerful current is created that multiplies your growth. Hill said, "The more you give, the more you receive." Suggestion: weekly or monthly, help at least one person. Share your vision, your experience, money, or even just listening. This energy always returns to you in a better form. Final chapter: the perfect moment doesn't exist. The right time is a myth. We all usually wait for the perfect moment. When conditions are ideal, when we feel completely ready. But the truth is, the right moment never arrives. All the great dreams of the world did not start in the best conditions. They were created at the moment of starting, with whatever level of preparation was possible.